Our Mike DeSilva is first at 5 with the details.
Rudy and Katia, here's how profitable the game rooms have been so far for the city of Falfurrias. There are some 13 game rooms there with numerous machines inside. The city collects a fee of $1,000 per machine each year. The city clerk says last year the city collected over $300,000 in permit fees, quite a bit of cash. Yet despite the fact that everyone acknowledges that the game rooms are there, there's always a shroud of secrecy surrounding what goes on inside. Do you guys make cash payouts here?
No, sir. I'm new here, so please.
Can we talk to you?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna talk to anybody. Please.
Hello. Are you the manager here?
No, she's not here.
She's not here?
Nope.
Do you make cash payouts?
No.
You don't?
Walk out.
Are you a customer or do you run both of the game rooms?
No.
You're a customer?
Yep.
Yeah. What's the most amount of money you've ever won?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nope. I don't like paying. I just like.
And as you can see there, someone told that last man to stop talking to us. We saw him at 3 game rooms in a row, the same 3 we visited in a row on South St. Mary Street. He appeared to be either shutting the game rooms down or a lookout, letting the other game rooms know we were on the way. And once word got out that we were in town, sure enough, the game rooms shut down and would not let us in. Fortunately, we found some other customers that would talk. Why are these so popular? The game rooms.
I don't know. It's better than bingo.
I won $1,000.
You have?
I won 3,000.
You won 3,000 at this place?
No,
Where?
I don't know.
You don't know. How much? I see some cash there. I mean, how much do you spend?
A lot.
A lot. Is it worth it?
Not really.
They are only allowed to operate legally when the machines are used for amusement purposes only. Rudy and Katia.
Very good story.
The San Patricio County District Attorney has launched an investigation into the management of the fund, and the father of the fallen Marine says he and his wife do not want their son's name associated with this scholarship fund.
Our expectations were that the majority of the money would be awarded to Sinton High School graduates. When we learned, among other things, that the scholarships would go to a graduate outside of Sinton High School, we requested that our son's name be removed from any scholarship award.
This money was set aside to honor his son, who died in service to our country. And it's only right that we get him the answers that a father deserves.
District Attorney Michael Wellborn says he has brought in the Texas Rangers to assist in the investigation. Wellborn says there may be as much as $10,000 missing from the fund that was set up to honor the late Corporal Mark Goyette. Wellborn says it could be foul play at work or just mismanagement. Today we tried to speak with the woman who is in charge of the fund, Donna Thomas.
Can I help you?
Hi, Donna Thomas.
I'm Donna. If this has to do with the scholarship, out the door.
It was for a good cause, and if the money's supposed to go to the students, that's where it should have gone. And if it's there, if it's not there, where is it? And that it be investigated without anyone trying to get in the middle of that.
The DA says the investigation will simply follow the money trail, find out how the money was spent and why. He says that looks like it will be a paper chase, tracing funds going in and out of a bank account, but he says he will get to the bottom of it. Meanwhile, Donna Thomas told me the truth will come out, as she put it. She denies any wrongdoing and says she's still in charge of that scholarship fund and that there's still $10,000 in it. And she says that money has been switched to another bank. Joe, he has not yet turned himself in or been arrested. Now, the indictments came down late yesterday afternoon, and as I found out today in Kingsville, lots of folks, including those closest to Mr. Macareno, were apparently unaware of that development, as we were the bearer of that bad news. Now, that certainly was the case at the offices of the Kingsville ISD. The assistant superintendent there said that she was not aware that Macareno had been indicted and that my bringing it to her attention was the first time she was hearing of it. That was also the case with Macareno's wife, Myra. She told us she was also unaware her husband had been indicted and that she was hearing so for the first time from us. Now, we went in search of Mr. Macareno himself at both of his businesses in town, but he was not there at Pure Platinum Gym and Fitness or at Macareno Signs, which is right across from Clayburg Elementary School. We did, however, catch up with Rudy Macareno's brother, Johnny, who gave us his reaction to the indictments.
I think they're false accusations, you know. I know my brother. I know he wouldn't do anything like that. We're very involved in the community. I'm very involved in the community. We're on a bunch of different organizations. So I think they're false accusations brought up by political vendettas.
Now, Johnny Macareno says his brother Rudy showed up for work at Macareno Signs this morning, but then told him he needed to leave because he had found out that he had been indicted. Now, we're told District Court Judge Angelica Hernandez has set bond on count 1 at $50,000 and on count 2 at $175,000. And the warrant was issued around 1 o'clock this afternoon, but he's still out there.
And Alice, also a council member there, is asking his fellow city leaders to perform a review on the city manager, Ray De Los Santos Jr.
That Alice councilman, Frank Hinojosa, is also asking the city council and Alice to consider dismissing the city manager. Our Mike DeSilva is just back from Alice with a look at what's going on there. Mike?
Joe and Katia, today I went to try and track down Councilman Hinojosa to ask him about this item that he got on the agenda. I found him at City Hall and I tried to speak with him. Councilman Hinojosa? Are you trying to get the city manager fired? Why did you ask for his evaluation? Is it politically motivated? Are you trying to get the city manager fired? Councilman? I mean, is that what you want? Just a simple question.
No comment. I already told you no comment, okay?
Councilman Hinojosa evaded us today at City Hall and would not answer our questions. Mayor Pro Tem Michael Esparza did speak with us and says evaluations are usually done in August or September, and so for Hinojosa to call for the city manager to be evaluated now is unusual, and it's something that he does not support.
I think that sometimes there's difference of opinion between council members and management or city manager, and I think those things need to be worked out outside of a review. And they can be. I've had differences of opinion with our city manager. We've sat and talked those through, and we move forward in a professional manner. I think that's the way a situation like this should be handled.
Do you believe that Councilman Hinojosa calling for this evaluation is politically motivated, and do you believe he's trying to get you fired, and if so, why?
You know, Mike, I can't speak to the intentions or motivations of any other person. What I can tell you is that over the last several years, Team Alice, being the mayor, the council, administration, and everybody that works for the city of Alice, has a proven track record of success, whether it is the...
We should mention that the city manager did not undergo an evaluation this August or September. The reason given was that there was a new city council and a new mayor. Frank Hinojosa is one of those newcomers to the council. Now, Mayor Larry Martinez, also a newcomer, says he supports the job De Los Santos is doing and has offered to be a mediator to try and resolve any differences between these two. The mayor says an evaluation under these circumstances is not the proper way to do that. Joe and Katia?
All right, Mike, thank you. The video.
Come on, Marty. Got anything to say? You can't even defend yourself on this, can you? What's your name?
This is what Marty Rathbun has had to deal with for months. People showing up at his house and following him around with cameras. Rathbun says he's being harassed and that the cameras are just the tip of the iceberg.
Behind that are teams of private investigators who look at my every single move and report them in every 5 minutes during the day and tell them precisely where I'm going to be so that they can plan their busts so that they're ambushes.
Squirrel Busters Productions has set up shop in Ingleside on the Bay, renting a home just one street over from where Rathbun lives. We went to talk to the Squirrel Busters, but they had little to say.
That's why we're giving you our side of the story with all of our information. Read it over, give us a call.
The production team giving us a copy of the pamphlet they've been distributing to the community. The pamphlet is filled with cartoon-like portrayals of Rathbun, painting him in the worst light possible and making defamatory allegations about his character. The mayor says the small community of Ingleside on the Bay doesn't appreciate the presence of the Squirrel Busters.
The literature that you have a copy of there, the magazine being delivered to everyone's house, they don't want it. They don't like having their properties filmed in background of the film crews, and they don't like the idea of these people going around and following him so closely and causing these problems.
Rathbun says he was a top-ranking official in the church for 22 years, but left in 2004 after observing what he calls a dwindling spiral with the leader of the church. He says he feared a Waco or Jonestown episode might not be far down the road.
If anybody has any kind of disagreement or speaks their mind or blows the whistle as to illegal conduct or corrupt conduct that goes on, they are attacked and targeted, as I am being right now.
Rathbun says he's being targeted for speaking out against the practices of the church. The sheriff's office says there's little they can do to stop altercations like this one until the law is broken, which so far it hasn't been.
Sunshine is the best disinfectant, and so I'm hoping that the more their conduct is exposed, that at a certain point they'll see what fools they're making of themselves to the American public, and will do the right thing and go back and go at least try to pretend to be a church.
In the meantime, this small community is caught in the middle of this religious feud.
Marty, you can't do that. Marty, I just did it.
Mike DeSilva, 3 News.